Conservative Party in Alberta, well, they're going through a leadership election soon, and you'll be very surprised to know some of the names that are floating around for that race, as Premier Jason Kenney had to step down after the review that was done within the party. More to cover on that, as well as the Freedom Convoy. If you recall, earlier in the year, what we saw happen in the streets of Ottawa and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government invoking the Emergencies Act. Well, there's a committee right now with hearing on what actually took place and why the government decided to make that decision. More on those details, as now there's testimony from people who were involved, and you want to stay tuned to know about what was said, what was known at the time for the government to make that decision, a historic one, to evoke the Emergencies Act. And now going to Alberta, well, it wasn't that long ago when the United Conservative Party decided to do a leadership review for sitting Premier Jason Kenney. And with the ballot that they sent out, essentially it was a one-question ballot. It was, do you approve of the current leader? That was sent out to their 60,000 members of the party, and out of those 60,000, 34,292 members mailed in their ballot by the May 11 deadline, and essentially out of that, it came out that 51.4% supported Jason Kenney's leadership, which was not enough for him to continue, and then he decided to step down until, and he'll be in the position until there is a new leader in place for the United Conservative Party. He is a sitting premier. He did win an election, but this is the unfortunate case for his leadership. And now there has been names floating around in terms of who could be vying for the top job, as there will be a leadership election soon. And you know, this quite famous, especially in Alberta, Conservative MP Michelle Rempel Garner. Well, there are rumors circulating that she's considering a run for the leadership role, but she has yet to announce, saying that she's waiting to hear on what the rules are. The party saying that by this weekend or next week, they'll announce the rules, what it costs to enter the race, what are the rules around the membership, and all those details to follow shortly. But as you know, that Michelle Rempel Garner, she is the chair of Patrick Brown's campaign for leadership of the Conservative Party. So that puts into question, if she does put her name in, what it means for Patrick Brown's campaign, although it seems like it's a well-oiled machine, and the Conservative Party will be choosing their leader on September 10th. But I want to bring some highlight to MP Michelle Rempel Garner, who has amassed a massive following online. On her Facebook, it's over 300,000 followers. On her YouTube, it's about 40,000 followers. So she speaks on issues that are happening in Ottawa. She usually goes, live on her social media platforms to explain what's going on and her take. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a video of what Michelle Rempel Garner does quite frequently, which has helped her amass the following that she has. And she's been a loud voice for a long time when it comes to Albertans, and the constituency that she has in Calgary-Nose Hill, and also when it comes to the Conservative Party. Take a look.
So I know many of you want a piece of good news, particularly after going to the gas station. Many of you might be filling your cars up and going like, oh my God, this is crazy. So I think we're all looking for a little piece of good news. And there has been some good news in the last couple of weeks. For those of you who have been following, a very senior court of appeal in Canada ruled that this bill that Justin Trudeau put in place some time ago, you'll know it colloquially referred to as the No More Pipelines Bill, Bill C-69. The court ruled that this was unconstitutional. That's great news, because at a time when we're seeing global energy prices get out of control, we should be looking at ways to make sure that Canada is energy secure, so that we're not paying these out of control prices for gas, the things that we need to power our homes, whatever. So good news, that court found it unconstitutional. So you'd think that the Trudeau government's response, particularly in the light of rising energy prices, would be like, well, we should maybe cancel this bill and move on. They refuse to do that. They actually want to use your tax dollars to challenge this ruling, which I think is crazy. That's bananas. the Trudeau government should be looking at ways to both protect the environment, but also ensure that Canada has energy stability, that we don't have to pay these out of control prices when so many of us are facing, you know, the massive impact of inflationary pressures. So finally some good news with this Court of Appeal, but of course Justin Trudeau doesn't want to let us have nice things. So how can you help? Okay, so I need you to help me do something. So, you know, if you watch Question Period or you watch Justin Trudeau in the House, he never wants to answer a question, right? There's a way that you can force him to answer a question, okay? So what we have to do is use this official parliamentary process. It's a parliamentary e-petition, but if we get enough signatures on it, within 45 days, the government has to respond to you. They actually have to respond to you. I don't get any of that data, but you get a response back from the government. And I want Justin Trudeau to explain to you why, when gas prices are so high and the cost of living is so unaffordable, that he would use your tax dollars to challenge a ruling from a very high level court in Alberta instead of trying to create energy security for you. So this is what I need you to do. I need you to just take 2 minutes today and do two things. Number one, share this video so that we can get more signatures on this thing and more people responded to by Trudeau. Number two, click on the link to the petition, the parliamentary petition, at the top of the video description and just say, look, I want an answer on this, right? It'll literally take you 2 minutes. It costs you nothing. And it helps me do my job in holding the Trudeau Liberals to account. You know, I don't understand why in Canada we can't have nice things except for Justin Trudeau. We should be able to protect the environment while not paying these ridiculous prices for gas, given that we are sitting on some of the most, you know, tremendous sources of energy supply in the world. And we're a G7 democracy. Like, the only reason we're in a position of insecurity is because Trudeau has said that he's wanted to cancel the energy sector for some time. And we all know that that's ludicrous. So share this video, sign that petition. It helps me get a response out of Justin Trudeau and helps me do help me make him do his job and fight for you. Working hard for you in Calgary. Thanks for taking the time to do this. Have a great day.
That is Michelle Rempel Garner, who has she does frequent posts on her social media talking about issues, and in this case she was talking about a parliamentary e-petition where if there's enough signatures that the Prime Minister will have to answer questions that she says he avoids during question period in the House of Commons. But this is her style of communication which has helped her become a big voice when it comes to Alberta, and in that specific clip that we just showed, she's talking about the oil and gas sector in Alberta. And so yeah, I mean, if she runs, she's very well known in Alberta and also throughout because of the way she represents on issues and discusses them. And now, so we'll know very soon, once the rules are out next week, if she's going to put her name in. But there are other politicians who are also vying for the top job. Essentially, there are, let's see, on the MLAs when it comes to Alberta, well, you have a few. You have the Children's Services Minister, Rebecca Schlitz, who's to be said that she's going to be announcing soon. You have the Transport Minister, Rajan Sawhney, who is also close to announcing. There was Minister Leila Ahir, who has already launched her local campaign, and she said that she's blown away by the amount of support that she's received. She was one of the most outspoken MLAs against the Premier and on issues when he was caught on camera with his cabinet during the lockdowns and not following the lockdown rules. Essentially, in that time period, she was repositioned from her ministerial role, which also meant that it was a decrease in her income of $60,000. But essentially, she stayed very vocal against the Premier, and she has her own base of following that will continue. But when it comes to the MP, Michelle Rempel Garner, well, we'll know fairly soon on where that stands.